Hi, I'm Pastor James Travis, and this is our Thursday hymn devotion on I Am Jesus' Little Lamb, and I'm not sitting at the organ bench today, but standing on the north side of our church sanctuary as you see the stained glass window of Jesus with his lambs, his sheep. This is a beautiful hymn written by Henriette von Hayn. She was a little bit different than some of our other hymn writers. She was a choir director towards the end of her life, and she wrote this hymn for a friend, Christina Petersen. It was a birthday gift. It originally was a 7-stanza poem, but as you know it, the 3 stanzas in English. What a wonderful gift for somebody's birthday, to give them Jesus, not a birthday cake, not a dress, not a brand new carriage or some sort of party that won't last, but a message that will last forever in the life of this fellow choir member. As you hear these words, I am Jesus' little lamb, ever glad at heart I am, for my shepherd gently guides me, knows my need and well provides me, loves me every day the same, even calls me by my name. I hope you think of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You should think also of John chapter 10, where Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. And I even call them by the name. Now, how do we know both of these passages are talking about each other? How does Henriette know this? Well, this is what makes her a little bit different than other hymn writers, especially in the Moravian community. Many of them, like our modern writers, they don't talk much about the details of the Bible. It's mostly sentimentality, which isn't totally bad, where we might sing, I love you, Jesus, 15 times in a row. And I hope all of you love Jesus and willing to sing that much, but there's not much depth of the Scripture. But Henriette knew that depth of the Scripture, and so she knew that the same Jesus who said, I am the good shepherd, also through David wrote, the Lord is my shepherd. You see, the very first words of that psalm, the Lord or Yahweh, mean I am, I was, I ever shall be. That's what the Lord's name means. This is the same Lord who came to Moses and said, I am sent you. And it's Jesus who then repeats those words, I am the good shepherd, I am the vine, I am the light of the world. So Jesus is saying, I am the one who knows every hair on your head. I am the one who dies and rises for you. I am God. The verse goes on. Day by day, at home away, Jesus is my staff and stay. When I hunger, Jesus feeds me, into pleasant pastures leads me. When I thirst, he bids me go where the quiet waters flow. And that's referring to the psalm, all those beautiful imagery of God taking care of us, feeding us through the Word. And certainly Henriette's life was an example of that. She grew up in Germany, although it was called Nassau at that time. She was the daughter of George Heinrich von Hayn, Master of the Hounds, the Duke of Nassau. This would be modern-day northwestern Germany. Now, she was a strong Lutheran, but she wanted more. She was praying and reading in the Scriptures. And so in 1746, she formally received into the Moravian community. I want to read you from the August 2007 Moravian Monthly History. It says this. This news filled her with joy as she felt these were my people with whom I wish to live and die. Emboldened after reading this scripture, anyone who loves his father and mother more than me is not worthy of me, Matthew 10:37. She resolved to run away to Hernhag in 1744. Her parents thwarted this attempt, but later softened and allowed her to live among the Moravians. 6-month trial basis, believing she would recognize her mistake. She never did. In her memoir, she wrote, "I left a pair of loving parents, but here it was as though I had found 100 fathers and mothers all at once." Count Zinzendorf intervened with her parents and on her behalf, promising to care for her as his own child. Enthralled with the peace and communal spirit of Herrnhag, von Hayn was accepted into a single sister's house and soon engaged as a teacher in the girls' school. She received her first Moravian communion in Herrnhag on January 30th, 1746, and in 1748 she was ordained a deaconess, and in 1750 assumed care for all the girls in Herrnhag. Now, it's an interesting community because it resembled something like an Amish communal living. It was this ideal place on earth that was modeled after the city of Jerusalem in the book of Revelation with the 12 foundations, the 12 walls, and Jesus was Lord. But as you might guess, an idealistic community doesn't always last very long because there's sin, there's crime, there's no police, there's no governor. So how can it last? As we know, the scripture teaches to obey the civil authorities. Well, it lasted till 1750, but she continued in the Moravian community, moving just a little ways away, and continued to teach. And later, she would take care of the invalid sisters. Now, what's interesting is that she then becomes a part of this choir towards the end of her life. And of course, that's when many of her songs and poems are written. Now, the last stanza of the hymn, it says, "Who so happy as I am, even now the shepherd's lamb? And when my short life is ended, by his angel host attended, he shall fold me to his breast, there within his arms to rest." You can see the stained glass window behind me. Jesus is holding the lambs at his breast. Well, this is a picture that comes out of that wonderful biblical story Jesus tells of the rich man and Lazarus. He contrasts the two. The rich man lives it up all his life. Lazarus is mistreated, full of sores, but they both end up dying. And what's interesting is the Lazarus, the poor man who obviously believed in Jesus, is then taken up by the angels. That's where we get the idea the angels take us up to heaven, as they do. And he is put at Abraham's breast, just like our stained glass window. But on the other hand, the rich man, he's in torment in the fire. You see how well Henriette knows her scriptures and puts it into practice. And so as you read this and think about what she went through in her life, even the ups and downs, you may think of your own life and those ups and downs, that despite all of them, Jesus still loved and died for us and cares for us as a shepherd. He runs after us with both the shepherd's crook to rescue us from those bad places, but also defends us from evil and keeps us completely to the end. I pray that you want this wonderful gift not only for yourself, but for those around you. Give it out as a birthday gift in your prayers, in your songs, in your invitations with others, and even with your gifts, just as Henriette did with her good friend, Christina Petersen. Jesus be with you.